Good day, everybody. Today I am going to show the demo of PACT Contract Integration Testing of Microservices. I have chosen a front end. This is the front end. Here the products are listed. If we click on See More, it will show the details of the product. So this is the product detail page. So this is the front end. Products is the front end, and it is connected with the catalog microservices, and catalog microservices is connected in turn with inventory microservices. So inventory microservices is the provider, and catalog microservices is consumer. In turn, catalog microservices is the provider and products front end is the consumer. There is a two-way communication happening between the two pairs, such as products and catalog microservices. A two-way communication happens through REST API. Similarly, between catalog microservices and inventory microservices, two-way communication happens using REST API. Let me quickly kickstart the demo, and as the demo progress, I will be providing more details. First I am running the catalog PACT integration test cases. So from catalog, there are no changes made to the code base, and catalog PACT integration test cases are triggered now. So I am going to run the catalog consumer test cases from the inventory provider. I'm kickstarting the test case, and as the test case progress, I will be providing more information. So this inventory is connected with catalog microservices. Inventory microservices is connected with catalog microservices. Currently, there are three developers. Let us assume that three developers are working. In front end, one developer is working, and in catalog microservices, one developer is working, and in inventory microservices, another developer is working. Right now, there are no changes in the code base, and the inventory microservices developer has triggered the catalog integration test cases. Let us see what is the output. Since there is no changes in the code base, this should pass. This is the first scenario which I have taken. I have chosen two type of models. One is consumer packed integration test cases, and next is provider packed integration test cases. Right now we are seeing the consumer packed integration test cases. So the execution has started. This should pass without any failures. In the meanwhile, if you see, all the microservices are up and running, and this is hitting a mock server. It is not hitting the dummy test server. It is hitting the mock server, mock packed test server, from where it is connected to the consumer, that is catalog. Actually, the test verifies whether contract is matching with the consumer provider. The contract placed by the consumer is provider. So the test case has passed. Let us see what is the outcome of this test case. The test case is verifying the pact between catalog, that is consumer, and the provider, and we have ran the consumer pact integration test cases, and it has passed as there are no changes in the code base. Right now I am navigating to the catalog services. In catalog services, I am navigating to the inventory consumer module. Here I have made changes, such as I have made changes to the quantity, and I am triggering this test case. Since I have made changes to the quantity, in the consumer side, I have made changes to the quantity, and the expected result will not match with the provider, and this consumer pack test case will fail. This is the expected outcome of this consumer test case. So we have First, we have run a positive scenario. Right now, we are running a negative scenario. The first scenario is in between provider. It is a consumer-based test case, and the second scenario is negative scenario, which is a provider-based test case. So the test case has failed. So it says that argument are different, and this is the difference it is showing. So the provider packed integration test case has failed. This is the second scenario, which demonstrate that this code is not as per the contract, and the developer of the catalog microservices has to make changes to his code base, so that when he deploys the code to the production or staging server, there will not be any failure. Right now, I am moving to before moving. Right now, I am changing the contract details. I'm changing the products to product. I'm building the catalog thing. Before that, if you see, let me navigate to the Postman. In Postman, let us the default value of the quantity is greater than 0. I have created a request less than 0, and I am sending the request. So the building is in progress. Let us take a look what is the status of the Postman request. If we update the quantity as 0, it will be updated as out of stock, which I will be shortly showing in the UI. And if we run the products list details page, it will fail because we have made changes to the contract. So the REST API call for the inventory update has been completed, and status is 204, and there is no content generated for it. And if I go to the products detail page, so the build is successful. Now I am going to the terminal. I am closing the Spring services, and I will restart the Spring services once again. So I have sent a request to product detail page, and if you see, it is showing 404 error and page not found. So if I navigate to the products detail page, it will show the same error, but product detail page is not available. So it is showing the same error. So we have seen that if we change the contract, the product detail page is not working. Let me trigger the unit test case for PACT test case for the same. So I'm triggering the PACT test case, that is front end consumer PACT integration test case. So in this scenario, it is a negative scenario. The front end application is not available, and the PACT services is hitting the front end application, and this PACT test cases should also fail. Let us review the so I will summarize the thing. The front end is connected with catalog microservices, and catalog microservices is connected with inventory microservices. There is a two-way communication between each of these pairs through REST API. First scenario, we have seen that there are no changes in the code base, and PACT test cases has passed. And in second scenario, we have taken a negative test case where consumer consumer PACT integration test cases we have executed, and the application was up and running, but PACT integration test cases has failed. So this PACT test case, this front end consumer PACT integration test case has executed, and it has failed. The reason is it is showing that there are changes in the contract, and since the contract is not fulfilled, this test case has failed. Actually, the status expected was 200, but 404 error was found. If you notice clearly, it is hitting the mock PACT server. It is not hitting the actual server, but in the actual server also there are errors. That is 404 page cannot be displayed error. Let me quickly modify this. I will build again, and I will restart I am building it again, and I am restarting the Spring Boot services. So the build generation is in progress, and I will be restarting so the next scenario which we are going to see is from the front end consumer module. We are going to hit the catalog inventory, catalog services, packed services, where all the applications will be running, but packed test cases will be failing. That is the scenario next we will be seeing on the demo. So the build has passed. I'm restarting the Spring Boot services of catalog. So if you remember, we have changed the inventory. I am changing it again, and I am so the status is 204. No content is generated. If I go to the product details page and see what is the inventory status, it is out of stock. Let me go to the product detail page and refresh this page. It is showing as out of stock. And if I go to the products list page, if I go to the home page or products detail page, so now all the three services are up and running. To confirm, I have refreshed. So now we are going to see the final scenario, that is all the services are running and I am triggering the catalog consumer packed integration service test case, and this should also fail because I have changed the expected result. I have changed the expected result to string. Actually the id is of integer type, but I am expecting a output of string. That's why this should also fail. So the catalog provider packed integration test case has executed and it has failed. As you see that it is expecting a string, but it is expecting a integer, but string was returned. As we have changed the assertion from string to from integer to string, this assertion is thrown in both the cases. If for all the product list as well as product individual product details, this error is being shown. So if you notice, all the three, even though the packed test cases are failing, the three the front end catalog microservices and the inventory services are up and running. So to summarize, this packed integration testing of microservices happen through packed server, that is consumer or provider hits the packed server and get the response from the actual consumer or product without any stubs. So this is the first thing to notice. Since there are no stubs, whenever a developer, for example, front end developer or catalog service developer or inventory service developer is making change to his code base, he can run all the related packed test cases, whether it is consumer or provider test cases, and he will be able to come to a conclusion. The All the contracts related to his microservices are intact and he can push the code. This is the first thing. And the second point is the developer of catalog microservices or inventory microservices or product front end need not know the details about other microservices. Hence he will be in a good condition to upload to promote his code to higher environment, that is QA staging or production environment, without the risk of breaking the contract. Since all the contract test cases are tested in the unit level testing itself, the cost of the failure in integration testing will be low, and cost of bug fixing in integration testing and UI testing or end-to-end scenario testing will be very less. Due to this, cost of cost of the bug will be reduced, and return of investment of this particular packed integration test of microservices will be very high. Finally, I will summarize the points which I have shown in the demo. Front end application, and this is catalog microservice, and this is inventory microservice. In the first scenario, we have seen that from inventory microservice, we have triggered the consumer packed integration test cases, and the pack was lying in between the provider and consumer, and it has validated whether contract is intact or not breaking. Since there was no changes to the code base, the test case passed. And second test case was from the catalog microservice. We triggered the provider that is inventory microservices packed integration test case, as there was a change in the expected result. The test case failed, and the developer came to the should is aware that he has to update his code base. And in the third scenario, we have triggered the product front end consumer back integration test cases, and we have changed the contract in the catalog microservices, due to which the packed integration test cases were failing, and the developer was aware that he has to change his code base. And finally, from the product front end page, we triggered the consumer catalog microservices. Since there is a change in the expected result, that is in the contract of the products, the code was breaking, and the front end developer has a knowledge that he has to update his code base. To summarize the advantages of this packed integration testing, the developer need not know the knowledge of other microservices. The cost of fixing the bug is very low, since it is identified in the earlier stages, such as in unit level testing itself. And return of investment is very high, because the developers or testers can focus on their microservices in their functional testing and then UI testing. Thanks for your time, and thanks for